Go live now. I think y'all just got the notification. Yeah, Drew.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that. 2 seconds.
Go live now. Y'all just got the notification. Yeah, Drew. We're live, dog. Fresh.
Glad to see Drew here. Sadly, me and him be on the same page. Sadly, I don't know how I feel about it, but works out in someone's favor.
Salmon, you gotta read his tag. Paris.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Consistency. We on the pod. There he is. Where's Rome?
Always got a polo. We love to see it.
That's pretty funny.
He's on it. We're on it. Week 5. On the week 5. Let's let some people join in, man. What's going on, Rome?
Not much, baby. Getting ready. What's up with this weekend? You joining me and Drew?
Perhaps scary hours.
Come on. Oh, I really I don't know if I reached out to you, but yeah, well, depending on you, let me know what you want to do. I mean, we could get a room or I just get
yeah. Oh, by the way, we're live, just FYI. So, but yeah, I'll send them jumps to you tonight. I just slipped my mind type shit.
That's cool. It seems like you have a delayed video for me.
Yeah, it is me. I don't know what's good with me right now.
P.
As long as it's not me, because it's been me last week.
Trying to figure out what I could do. I don't know. I just went to a different Wi-Fi before we started.
Just giving log out, log back in.
All right, I'm about to make one of y'all the host. So
yeah, I'm here.
I shall return.
Now we lit. Now the real gang's here.
Yo, chill out, bro. Chill out.
Nah, I don't even bang with the CEO like that.
They saying we live on YouTube. You talking crazy? That's crazy. That's insane. At least we still live though.
Bro, what's up with the Steelers?
Ben Roethlisberger.
I'm telling you, just the year they're going under 500.
At first, when they played the Bills like how they did, I was like, okay, this might be where Rome is wrong, but nigga, they looking terrible.
They was handed that game. They weren't supposed to win that game
at all, But now it's just looking putrid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like
fact. I was like, how is he that bad?
Yo, what was the
where's Haskins?
Yo,
chill out.
Chill.
Bro. First, bro, you can't be bad in like the sexual harassment white boy. Yeah, like, he's horrible.
What's crazy? I'm not saying that the sexual harassment is fine, but everybody loves to bring that up with this man. Years later.
It's like, you're not about to let him rock out like this. He's so bad. Now I gotta bring it up.
White privilege, bro. Old white privilege.
What the GM said, like he said, what did he say? He's like the kids and the teacher. He was wild. What did he say?
I don't know.
2 years ago.
Yeah. What do you say? That's what I'm saying. It's all the same. It's all in the same breath.
Harassment is fine. You're moving good, P. Letting you know if you can hear me. You look
all
better.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm on the guest Wi-Fi. I heard everything though. 2-3 screens me.
You gotta start the recording back over.
Oh, see, there we go.
We still live, but you gotta start recording.
Facts. Yeah, I got the live on the right. I heard everything in between. Oh, no one really likes me. The truth prevails.
Oh my god, you heard Soundman was wild.
Hey yo.
No one really likes me. There it is. All right, we're back.
What I got, Drew? Excuse
Capital
me,
P.
Paris. My bad.
Paris, our friend from Rome, our friend from Paris. That's the easiest way to remember.
Mhm.
All right, Wi-Fi good. Let me get a sip of water, man. Shit.
That's all it is, huh?
Mhm. Loving this week, man. I got a one game. Everybody's going right. I'm going left, but we'll get there soon.
Looking forward to hearing that.
All right, let's start it up. I'll send it out as we get going. I know that people got things to do. 7:30. Hey, shout out to Soundman. I want to, you were consistent on the 7:30 p.m. this year. It's working out well. We were there. We started sometimes at 9:30 last year.
It was crazy.
All right, so all right, let's get right into it. We are live. We are recording. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's get to it. And we're back. Annie Up Consulting presents What's the Line podcast. I'm your host, Meticulous Mark P, also the host of Annie Up University. Got both of my guys with me today. Roll Tide. But that's for another day. But I got both of my guys with me. Annie Up University. Also, I'm a participant in the What's the Line Monday Morning podcast. But this is the Thursday podcast, Tuesday night stream where we talk the NFL lines. Week 5 is here. On a week 5, as we say, the Bill Belichick saying. So we're here. Quick reviews. Want to do some reviews of best bets. I feel like we've been slipping the last week or so. Shout out to Paris. He wasn't feeling that Lions play last week. So, but let's review some best bets. Mike Curry, 6-3 on the year against the spread. So shout out to Mike Curry. Rome, 8-4 against the spread this year. Best bets.
Not
Shout out
good.
to him. I am 8-3 against the spread. Best bets this year. Keese is having a rough year, not here today. But the Soundman special, Soundman, top left fucking corner.
It won
4-0.
again this week?
Huh?
It won again this week?
Yes, 4-0. Soundman special, undefeated this season. Shout out to him. And if you don't know, the Soundman special is an underdog outright to win the game. So Soundman is all plus fucking money this year. So I mean, you getting it. We see you, boy. But we can't gloat on the past. We can't dwell on the past. Let's get into it. Week 5. Thursday night football. The Rams at the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 2.5. The total's 54.5. Rome, I'm gonna start it with you, our friend from Rome. Tell us how you're feeling this week and how you feel about this game.
Well, I want to start off with the obvious things that we know about the Rams, specifically after a loss under the McVay era. They're pretty sharp usually coming out, and that's we talk against the spread a lot on this podcast. Obviously, that's what
It's the only thing that matters. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters. So, who cares about wins or losses? Who's covering? Sean McVay covers after a loss. They lose last week off of we could call it a letdown performance after they played the Bucks. They come back and are pretty flat at home in division. So that's inexcusable to be flat in division. And then you come back on another short week and you're back in division. So you could easily be 0-2 in division, right back down to, reality if they're not prepared this week. I think they are, but I don't want to touch either side just with this line right now at 2.5, it being Tuesday night. My lean's on the over at 54.5. Seahawks have obviously been able to put up points, and, that offensive line didn't look too sharp in the first half. But I haven't been too impressed with what the Rams have been doing the past 2 weeks on defense. So a Rams offense that we know is going to be able to score points under McVay, and then an offense in Seattle that we believe will be able to put up points as well. So looking for the over here in this game. Like I said, no real leans on the side as of now. Line at 2.5, totals at 54.5. So leaning on the over right now.
All right, and that's Rome at Romy Rome _ on Twitter. I'm sorry, guys. I really didn't introduce anybody. Soundman, got you back here once again this week. How you feeling today, Soundman?
I'm all right. Well rested. unlike you, I'm not feeling week 5, but I'm here. So,
All right, we can put this at the beginning of the audio. Rome, how you feeling this week?
Ready to go. Week 5. Let's be sharp.
All right. And we got our friend from Paris making his once a year, his annual appearance on the What's the Line podcast. But we love it. How you feeling today, Paris?
They finally let me at the doghouse, let me onto the big stage. I'm just happy to be here, man.
That is hilarious. All right. And if you know Paris, you know he's sharp, the prop god. He has a different perspective. He talks return of investment. So all of those that are similar to stocks, there's some alignment there. But yeah, let's get into it. Paris, how you feel about this game? Rams favored by 2.5 at the Seahawks, total 54.5 Thursday Night Football.
I like the Rams a lot here. This was one of the lines I pulled the trigger on early in the week. I think I got it at 1.5. I think it's a perfect buy low spot for the Rams, sell high on the Seahawks. Under McVay, Rams 13-6-1 versus spread after a loss. That's even better. It's 8-2 on the road following a loss versus spread. That's about 80% hit rate. Rams is actually, I think this is a better team. They've held Seattle 20 points or less in the last 4 games, 20 points or less in 6 out of the last 9 games. I should disagree with Rome a little bit. I don't think Seattle's offense is that good. And I'm not even sure why. Because on paper they should be firing all cylinders, but it gets very stagnant. And
the offensive line.
Oh, maybe it's a line, but I was not feeling the Seahawks, and I think it's a perfect buy low spot for the Rams, sell high on the Seahawks. I'm back in the historical data with McVay. I think the Rams covered pretty easily this game.
All right, so Paris has a light on the Rams, and Soundman up. You're next. How you feel about this game? Rams favored by 2.5.
I'm gonna lean the Seahawks here. I want to start off by saying I got nothing for the NFC West anymore for the rest of this year. I can't get a gauge on any of the teams. I usually love them, and they're kind of It's not too early. I don't like what I'm seeing. We go 3-0 with the Rams. You take an L, to the Cardinals, and Cardinals are 4-0, and it's just such some weird stuff going on. Niners are still banged up. It's just like, what are the Seattle Seahawks doing? I don't have no gauge on these guys at all. If I could stay away from this game, I would. The stats that Paris just read off, the 20 points, kind of convinced me, but I'm literally just leaning the Hawks here off the strength of Russell Wilson and his Thursday night magic at this point. I usually see him using a division game against like the Cardinals or something, or the Niners on a Thursday, and he's just pulling something out of his hat and winning a game, kind of like a 30-29 type of deal here. So I'm just gonna lean Seattle. Wouldn't bet it. I'm tired of NFC West. Go Hawks, man.
If you were to get down on NFC West odds right now, who would you be looking to play? This is really for Drew.
Oh, damn. Shoot. I would have to look at the numbers. I haven't seen the numbers in front of me. But if I'm just picking the best team.
No numbers involved. Blind. Pick a team to win it. So obviously no value. Value's excluded. We're just saying
I'll go Rams. I'll go Rams for sure.
Rams, yeah. Because early, before the season started, Rams were plus 199, 49ers were plus 200, so they're basically even. And Seahawks and Cardinals were following behind. So I'd be interested to see those numbers now. Obviously, with the Cardinals off to a fast start, and the Rams here, depending on what they do this week, they could be 0-2 in the division. So that could obviously dramatically shift those odds. So.
Wow, I just went with the only white quarterback in the division with all black quarterbacks. I feel so bad for that. So I'm gonna take that back. I'm not gonna do the Rams, just off strength. So I guess I'll go Niners. Got the best quarterback in the division.
All right. So for me, I gotta lean with the Rams at minus the 2.5 points. It was a like for me at the 1.5 when it opened, but I was getting a little steamed up, and I know how the Seahawks are kind of play the game late and get a backdoor cover or something, win by somebody lose by 2 points. So it's just a lean for me on the Rams at 2.5. But like I said, I like it at two or less. But for me looking at this game, like you said, Sean McVay, 8-2 against the spread on the road after a loss. We like that. 7-1 against the spread just after a loss, blindly. And, the Seahawks, they just struggle offensively, just like, Paris said. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but I mean, they struggle offensively. They got that game last week because, Jimmy Garoppolo went out and they kind of just, threw Trey Lance to the fire. There's a lot of things to figure out quickly in just a half to win the game. So they got out of there with a win, but the Seahawks didn't look sharp by any means last week. I think they just kind of won because of circumstance. And, obviously their backs were against the wall, but they played well in the red zone. The Seahawks did against the 49ers last week, but they did not do well on third down. I believe they were like 3 of 14 on third down. I don't like to back teams like that. And I think this Rams team is going to be hungry, come out, cover the spread. So I'm going to back the Rams here, lean at the 2.5, but yeah, like it at 2 or less. So that's how I feel about that game. All right, next game, Jets at the Falcons. Falcons favored by 3. Totals 486. Stay away for sound, man. Paris, I'm gonna go to you first. How you feel about this game? Falcons favored by 3 at home.
Real quick, CEO. I definitely want to back on what I just said. I meant Cardinals had the best quarterback.
All right, got you.
I said Trey Lance by accident.
Yeah.
I was trying to boost up the trade value in fantasy. But so Jets versus Falcons is definitely gonna be a stay away from me. I think I can never bet with the Falcons when they're favored. And that's just like a kind of a rule for me since the 28-3. They're just like the gutless franchise. So, but if they're catching points, I might fade. And the Jets are just not good as well. So it's a stay away from me. I'm getting used to the ropes again. So I like lean to stay away. So I apologize for the first one, but
gotcha. No, and it should be said the Jets, 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 8 wins, 20 losses, 1 push against the spread as a road dog. Since 2017. Wanted to point that out. But Rome, how do you feel about this game? Falcons favored by 3.
Right now, I'm liking the Falcons at 3. It's already been played. This really just goes down to a Jets team that's going to be high off a win at home and a team that's not used to winning at home. And then you got a team in Matt Ryan who, I mean, they had the lead for the majority of that game this past Sunday. And the defense in which, everyone thought was stout going back to 2 weeks ago in New York, I kept mentioning it wasn't a defensive performance. Just because it's a low-scoring game does not mean it's a great defensive performance. There was just 16 points scored by the Giants in that game, and it wasn't really due to the Falcons' defense. It was more due to the Giants' offense not being able to convert on third down. So last week, we see they obviously give up over 30 to the Washington football team at home. And so now I think you're at the spot where you have a very fair understanding of the Falcons. I think the Falcons are the most easily understood team in pro football. We talk about the Cardinals, who we think are overachieving. We talk about the Steelers, who some might think are underachieving. We think they're right where they're at. We talk about the Bengals, who we think are overachieving. I think the Falcons are right where we expected the Falcons to be. Their season win total is around 4.5 and 5, and they have 1 win through a quarter of the season.
Yep.
So what's that? 1 more win each quarter of the season, basically, if you want to theoretically chop it down like that. So here we go. Falcons, Jets, 2 of the bottom tier teams. We would say 28 and 31, right? Texans being the worst team, Jets being the 31st, and Falcons at 28. I would lay it here with the Falcons because you got the 3. That dome is not worth 3 on home field advantage.
This game is in London.
In London.
Yeah.
In London.
London.
And
London
so that's
town.
a neutral 3, but that's a real neutral 3.
I mean, that's just a whatever line. That's just like whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, they just threw that out there. I'll be interested to see where this is at, but I really like the Falcons on this one. I mean, this is a team. If we talk about Matt Ryan, that's my guy. He still has a little bit in the tank to do. I mean, against the Jets team. So Jets defense has been strong this year. We know that. Very strong in the red zone. And, but between the 40s and the 20s, I haven't seen too much to be impressed about. So, I mean, I like this Falcons offense. I think they're finally getting it together. This past week, the offensive line looked much better than it did prior weeks. Matt Ryan is going to be Matt Ryan. You can't expect him to be Hercules, but he always gives you a better shot. And I'll take him over a more volatile Zach Wilson at this point. So a Jets team that's not used to travel, a Falcons team that's a little bit older, and I would say a better coaching staff. Give me a team that can put up a little bit more points. And the Falcons, I think they cover this 3. So if we always talk about lines and neutrals and home field advantage, with this game being in London, I mean, this is a true 3. I mean, this is the books believe this Falcons team is a true 3 points better than them. This is the neutral. I like the Falcons here. It's already been played at 3.
All right. And the Falcons 49-43 and 1 against the spread after a loss under Matt Ryan. So speaks to him, I guess, a little after the loss. Been playing for a long time.
500, I'll take that.
Yeah. For me, it was just a lean on the Falcons. I don't really got too much. I forgot I was actually in London, so it probably would have been a stay away. I'll just lean with the Falcons because the number is 3, and I think they're the better team. Next game, Packers -3 at the Bengals, total of 50.5.
This line stinks.
Yeah. This is actually a stay away from Rome, I believe. Stay away, Rome.
The stinkiest line on the slate this week.
All right. Soundman, how do you feel about this game?
I think I like the Packers here. Obviously I watch Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, this guy's in a groove. Told everybody relax after the 38-3 dub. And yes, we know that Joey covers here. I don't think he's
Joey covers.
I don't think that's happening this week. I think the Packers are just, trying to establish themselves as kind of an under radar team. Everybody's worried about, obviously, the NFC West guys, the Cowboys as like contenders in the NFC, and like Packers aren't even really getting talked about these days. So I think this is just a game to go out here and take care of business in Cincinnati. I like the Packers.
Can anyone explain this line? Packers laying 3 in Cincinnati.
I think it's respect to Joe Burrow at this point.
The Sharps seem to love the Bengals. Each week this year, money is coming on the Bengals.
Who would it be?
They didn't cover last week.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, does this all go back to a Steelers win in Pittsburgh? And we see who the Steelers are. Why do the Sharps love the Bengals so much this year?
I mean, they cover with Joe Burrow. I mean, that's
it.
Thing, but
That's literally it.
I don't know why, but there has been steam on them each and every week. But yeah, they haven't covered every game by any means. So, Paris, how you feel about this game? Bengals 3-point underdogs at home.
I'm leaning Bengals here. Going back to Joey covers 6-2-1 versus spread. Last 9 as a home underdog. Burrow's last 13 games is now 9-3-1 versus spread. I'm just feeling the Bengals right now.
Yeah, for me, I lean with the Bengals. The wacky 3 is just not catching me on the Packers. Started at 3.5, and we know 3.5 doesn't cover on the road via Rome. But yeah, I just lean with the Bengals. Joey covers. I think the Packers are always good for a game they just slip up in kind of week 5 or week 6. And this could very well be that game. So I don't really want parts of the Packers this week. I'm gonna just kind of move on to a different game. So I lean with the Bengals at home.
You know what? I was watching that Packers Steelers game, and the Steelers kind of got hosed, and they were kind of had that game under, especially in the first half. I was kind of looking at the Bengals first half, see what that number is. But after the Steelers blocked a field goal, I believe, at the end of the first half in return for a touchdown.
It wasn't offside.
It was a bogus offsides call. And I think ever since then, after that, going to the first half, the Steelers got down and the Packers started rolling. But the Steelers had control of that game. I wasn't feeling the Packers at all in that spot.
Yeah.
So, and the game kind of played out the way I was looking as I expected it to. And that was a kind of game changer play right there.
Yeah, I totally agree. They were in that game for a while. I know the live line got up to 10.5, and they obviously didn't cover, or didn't cover for the Packers. They only won by 10. So they definitely stayed in that game. And just to be said, like those are kind of the games I personally look for. Like the games that either a team was kind of in or a team that won maybe by a lot of points but kept a bad team around. You can kind of look for those from week to week, and they can escape with bad habits. Try to look to pounce on those teams, but just a thought. All right, so Lions at the Vikings. Vikings favored by 7.5. Totals 49. My bestie Mike Zimmer. But before that, so where's Rome week? So let's get into where's Rome. All right, and yeah, Rome. How do you feel about this game? Vikings favored by 7.5 at home.
My favorite angle on this right now is going to be the under. 2 division teams, 2 teams that control clock. I don't know if it's necessarily intentional, but the Lions, we go back to this past weekend in Chicago. They looked pretty sharp early in that game. If you want to talk in between the 20s, they get inside the green zone, they can't score. So they have 3 possessions inside the 20 this past weekend in Chicago. They get 0 points on those possessions. And then how about this? But they were running the ball at will. Jamal Williams, Swift was going off. And so that was really, surprising to me because we talk about this Bears front. And now this Bears defense has the names and everything, but they never seem to show up and produce. They did get the strip sack and something late and some fortunate things to bounce their way. But in terms of controlling the clock and run the ball, the Lions were able to do that. Talk about a Vikings team. Kirk Cousins has been on fire this year. However, I think against this Lions defense at home, I think this is a flat spot for them in terms of offensive efficiency. This Lions defense has been a little bit better than I thought they'd be. Opportunistic would be the word that I use to describe them, because I wouldn't be able to point out anything very spectacular about their performances or what I really like about the three tiers, that being line, linebacker, and secondary. But they seem to fight and seem to stay in close ball games. And this is a divisional team. So obviously film going back, not too much has changed on the rosters of these two teams in the past year, specifically with the Vikings. And then we talk about Mike Zimmer. Yes, we love Mike Zimmer. Yes, he covers a lot, but recently those numbers haven't been that great in terms of him covering. And so 7.5 at home. I'm not too keen in laying this with the Vikings right now. This is still one of those teams I think will end up underachieving this year. So I'm still going to lean Lions, but my favorite angle on this is going to be the under 49. And I think it's good down to 48, maybe 47.5, but I'd be tempted there because that's just 47.5 is one of those key numbers. So I really like it right now at 49. If you like it, pull the trigger. Like it down to 48.
All right, for me, quickly, I just lean Vikings minus the 7.5. Don't feel as confident about it this week as I had previously. When we talk about Mike Zimmer and his tenure there are a lot of good against the spread numbers. Division games, however, are not that. He's just 21-21 against the spread in division games. So 7.5 is a lot to lay in division. So I'm gonna just lean with the Vikings, but I'm not actually betting it. Paris, how do you feel about this game?
I lean Vikings for sure. Before I even get to that, everyone see how they treat me. I'm the only one without an virtual background. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. But I do lean Vikings here, minus the 7.5. I mean, Vikings, ideally, this is a get-right spot. And they own the Lions. In the last 7 games, Vikings are 7-0, 6-1 versus spread. I mean, if you have any game circle on the calendar, is this one right at home versus Lions. So, yeah, I lean Vikings here.
All right, Soundman, talk to me. How do you feel about this game?
So prior to Rome speaking, I was leaning Vikings, but he brought up the fact about, you guys being Zimmer guys and the ATS stats. And we all know,
and the testy.
We all know I don't care about the Zimmer stats. I don't think it's real. Ever since we've been talking about it last year.
Whoa.
He hasn't been hitting. He hasn't been hitting in a very long time.
In the past,
he has been hitting in a very long time.
Listen, I have to stop all of you because there's revisionist history here. Okay, I understand that he didn't cover some of the games towards the end of last year with a very bad team. I get it. But even the start of this year, he was 2-1 against the spread, and now he's just 2-2. So I just feel like there's people just saying, because he didn't cover at the end of last year. But, I mean, the numbers are the fucking numbers. To say it's not true, 33-15 against the spread after a loss, That's true. What do you mean you don't believe it's not true?
Tell us why you're walking with the snowman,
Yeah, I'm definitely rocking with the snowman, obviously because of that story once. I don't know if you've been watching Drew or Paris, but Motor City Dan Campbell's my guy.
Sure.
Just looking at the Lions, obviously we all were on the Lions last week, besides Paris. But I mean they've been kind of clamping down, like the leak. They closed the leak of week 1 and week 2. They were getting a lot of points scored on them. Week 3 and week 4, they kind of got it down. Obviously, we thought they'd win last week, but they've been playing like solid or even better defense than before. I think last week, they're coming off that high of a L against the Ravens. They didn't show up, essentially. But then you come here this week. These guys, Mike Zimmer fans over here, is getting 7.5 at home. These Lions, whether we like it or not, they're going to fight to the end. So I think, again, they can cover. They can cover the 7.5. They can lose by like 6 or 3 or 5 or something like that. So I'm going to lean with the Lions here. I think they let themselves down last week by we should probably get this game in Chicago, and they didn't. So let's go out here against another divisional opponent, and let's just either win or we're not going to lose by 7.5. If it was 7, I'd probably be like, I'd probably lean Vikings. But 7.5, I think they can get that. So I'm leaning Lions here.
They're 0-4. They're one of the only 2 winless teams left in pro football.
They're hungry.
They need one, and
They're
I
hungry.
like this spot for them. And I think if they do cover, they're obviously not the better team. So what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to play better defense to keep the Vikings off the board because we don't expect their offense to explode. The more and more I look at this game, I just love this under.
Vikings do have a lot of injuries. They have a couple of guys just went COVID list today as well.
Yeah.
So get away
All
from
right.
Kirk.
All right, next game on the board, AFC matchup, Broncos at the Steelers. Steelers favored by 1. Look ahead was Broncos -1.5. Total is 39.5. Looks like Drew Lock is going to get the start. Rome, how do you feel about this game?
The more I look at this, I lean Steelers. It probably will be a stay away up until Saturday night. Total, this just to be noted, this is the lowest total on the board this week at 40. It's down to 39.5 right now. So that just lets you know where all the money's going. Kind of want to leave it alone. Pro football game on week 5. I get it. The Broncos play a very slow pace of offense, but you add in Drew Lock to the mix. The best thing for him probably would be to speed up the tempo. So, you know, I think the Steelers defense is overrated. I've been saying that for years now. They line up. They throw out 3-4 defenses with 4 receivers on the field. They have linebackers checking slot receivers. They're all over the place. And the line's 1. And this is one of those spots where it's like the Broncos are obviously the better team on the eye test. I just hate to lean with the Steelers as bad as Ben Roethlisberger has looked. But you go back to a Mike Tomlin team and that 500 record. I don't think they go too far under 500. I think they steal some wins, specifically this one at home on a get-back week. They've dropped, 2 in a row now? So it's time for them to sharpen up. Obviously, they're going to be laser sharped in and focused. I lean with the Steelers -1 right now, but I will stay away to this game until I absolutely have to play it on Saturday.
All right, Sam, how do you feel about this game? Steelers favored by 1.
Potential Soundman special here is it pains me to say. For some reason, I think Teddy is going to play. I've obviously been, reading everything that we're all saying. I think he is going to play, and if he does, I think Denver beats them outright at the crib. I wasn't feeling anything that I seen from the Steelers against the Packers. Personally, I know we talked about it earlier, and apparently somebody thinks they were in control. I don't see anything from Ben. Their leading receiver is their running back. Like, it's not working. They're just leaving their offense on the field too long, which their offense is not producing, and their defense is just getting tired, and that just equates to them giving up plays. Granted, Denver is not the super high potent offense, but Denver's defense is pretty good too. Hopefully they can just travel here, and I think they can get out of Pittsburgh with a win, and I'm hoping Teddy's there. I love Denver here right now. It's really all contingent on Teddy Bridgewater, and if he plays, this is going to be the Soundman special, so go Denver.
All right, Paris, what do you think about this game? Steelers favored by 1 at home.
When I initially saw this line, I loved the Broncos here. I thought there was a better team. Broncos 6-0 versus spread on the road, following loss. Steelers 2-8 versus spread in last 10 versus teams plus 500. A super fade of Ben Roethlisberger. My only hesitancy is why I didn't play this game is because Drew Lock I don't think is good. And I think he's prone to turnovers, and that just kind of could throw any line out the window if you turn the ball over on your own side of the field. So I think the pivot for me this game, I will lean Broncos. Hesitancy is the Drew Lock versus Teddy B. I love it with Teddy B in there. So I think the only pivot for me will be the Steelers team total under 21.
All right.
I think this game ends up with the Broncos being favored. So we're looking at this line right now, Steelers -1. That obviously says Broncos are maybe 2 points better on a neutral. But Drew Lock's playing. So are they 2 points better with Drew Lock? I mean, we love the defense. We know what they can do. But, I mean, with Drew Lock in, I would say these two teams are about even. And, I just lean Steelers here if that's the case, because I can't see Drew Lock coming out there and being able to figure it out. He looked poor this past weekend, obviously thrown into the fire. But he was a former starting quarterback last year, and you should be prepared for spots like that. He was not. I don't expect him to be prepared this week going into Steeler country. And this look ahead line was Broncos -1.5. Now it's Steelers laying 1. I wouldn't be surprised if it crosses back over to Broncos. So if you're looking to tease, I would just tease either team that ends up on the 1.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I don't know. This game is a little weird to me. But Broncos got a lot of starters out right now. I think up to 7, possibly 8 for this game if Bridgewater doesn't play. But I still have a like on the Broncos plus the point. Vic Fangio, the bitching, the whining, the moaning Vic Fangio. Although he's bitching and moaning this week, he is 13-6 against the spread after a loss, 16-8 against the spread outside of the AFC West non-division games. He's 11-7 against the spread as a road team since he's been a head coach. I think that actually speaks volumes considering Drew Lock was his fucking quarterback during all of those games.
The reason I don't think that speaks volumes is because the Broncos were catching points in almost all of those games. And this line is 1. This is barely a spread. It's basically saying who's going to win. They haven't. We can go back to last year. They were not laying points in any of those games.
And they're not laying points right now. I mean, it's a like on the +1. That's what I'm telling you on Tuesday, it's October 5th, 2021. So, I mean, I still like it at the Broncos. I mean, this Steelers team, Big Ben cannot move, and that offensive line is bad. They're once again 32nd in rushing yards this year. Offensive line just can't get it together. Najee Harris is getting fucking killed. He's on the block. All my fantasy guys up there, he's on the block. But yeah, so I'm a block.
Yeah, what's up with sound, man?
I'm a back the Broncos here. I still think they can get it done. This Steelers team is just offensively they're bad. And what I think about will really turn this from a lean to a like because the Broncos is still a tough position for them to be, but the Steelers remind me of the Giants a few years back when such a profound organization, so much history. We believe in our guy, we're loyal, and you can kind of just leave a quarterback out there a little bit too long. With the Giants was probably 2 years too late. With the Steelers, it's probably just 1 year too late considering how well they started last year. But they're not going to bench him. They're going to keep him out there, and I just think he's bad. I think the offense cannot do anything with him. I think this Broncos defense is pretty good. Surtain looks like he's going to play this week. So yeah, I'm gonna back the Broncos plus the 1 point. It's a like for me at the +1.
If Surtain plays and Bridgewater plays, how many starters are they down? 6 or 7?
6.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Some could come back this week. You know what I mean? But last week they were down 6 starters to start the game.
Players don't matter. It's not that deep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think.
Well, at the quarterback position, Bridgewater over
quarterbacks matter. You're right. Quarterbacks matter.
Not Surtain. Obviously, we don't think that matters. But
yeah.
Fair
enough. All right, next game: Dolphins at the Bucks. The Florida showdown. Loser leaves town. Bucks favor by 10, totals 48. Quick with me, I lean with the Bucks. I think they're the much better team, but I just don't know about them, laying double-digit points. Bruce Arians just 2-4 against the spread as a double-digit favorite as a head coach. I think they'll, get it together, but if Gronk's not out there, how good are they going to be in the red zone? But they should play much better. Maybe look forward to a team total over, but Bucks minus the 10. I just lean there. Paris, how do you feel about this game?
I probably if I had to pick that, I would probably lean Bucks. It's not something definitely not something I'm going to play this week. I actually think probably look at Bucks team total under, only because
I love it.
Those former Patriots coaches, they have Brady's number, but they just play him better than anyone else. Yep. Belichick, Flores always played Brady great. He's always Vrabel has played Brady great. Patricia sucks, but Patricia he's had some solid outings versus Brady. I mean, not that they're going to stop and beat Brady, but they can scheme up. They do different things, consistently throw different looks, throwing zones, mans, constantly keep Brady on his heels because they know him better than anyone else. So Flores will have his defense ready, probably more than your average Joe Schmo head coach. So I think there's no way I would play the Dolphins with their offense looking right now. But I think if I had to put any bread on this game, it would be Bucks team total under. So
if you just listen to everything Parrish just said, take a step back and look at the angles on this game. Bucks laying 10, total 48. This is the best underplay on the board this week.
I like that.
Bucks aren't going to be able to score. Well, if they are, they will, but they'll be the only one scoring. And if the Dolphins have any chance in covering this line, they're going to have to keep the Bucks from scoring. The Dolphins. How many games have they won this year? One in New England. How many points did they put up in that win?
17.
17.
How are they going to beat the Bucks without? They're not going to outscore the Bucks in a slugfest, right?
Right.
You don't expect that. This is an under play. I love the team totals under, but I just like the full game at 48 because there's no motivation for the Bucks to beat outer conference. The only thing that these two teams have in common are they both play in the state of Florida. These two teams are not in the same conference, so there's no incentive for margin on either side. Not that the Dolphins can get that margin, so there's no incentive for the Bucks to get margin, and the Dolphins can't score.
Yeah, Bucks definitely come out flat. I mean, they don't care. Like they won the game they had to win. They showed up. They're back home in Florida. Yeah.
Here's the letdown spot, and I'm not saying they lose, but man, do I love this under here.
All right, Sound Man, I love Brady. How do you feel about this game after the Bucks did not cover last week in New England?
Yeah, a couple things here. I've been taking these big points, and I've been coming up short, especially with Brady over the last year or so now.
You've been taking them or laying them?
Been laying it, and it's not been working out in my favor. Sadly, I'm going to lay it here yet again.
Yes.
I want to say, to Paris's point, I love the fact that he talked about Brian Flores against Brady, and I think if this game was in Miami versus Tampa Bay, I would be like, all right, bet. I feel you. But since it's at Tampa, I'm negating that. I'm on Rome's side of saying that I think it's going to be like a team total. I think that's a great play. The team total under for this. I think that's what it is. The Dolphins stink. They really suck. I think the Bucks are going to go out here. They're just going to have fun, probably pull up their 21, 24 points in the first half. Dolphins might do a little comeback and, Bucks get their last second touchdown. So hopefully get it to the over 10 because I'm going to lay the points here yet again. So I'm going to love the Bucks here. I also love Rome's play. And, after the 2-point win last week, I think they probably try to want to get their offense back on track. And it's 10 points here. I think we can go ahead and chalk that. So
this is a 27-20, 24-20, 24-17 type of game.
Maybe 31-10. Give me 31.
If you love the Bucks, it's one of those 31-10 games.
31-10. I can take 30. We're both happy at 31-10.
It is under written all over it. And I'm actually going to pull the trigger tonight on it the more we keep talking about this.
Pull the trigger.
Yeah.
All right. Next game. Saints -2 at the Washington football team. Total of 44.5. I will start with me. I got a like on the Saints here, minus the 2 points. What it comes down to is I think, coaching class, Ron Rivera, Sean Payton, is definitely a tier above the Ron Riveras of the world. Team coming off a loss in this division to the NFC East against a good opponent on the road, at least in the Giants, who got the outright win. Daniel Jones probably played his best game of his career.
Ever. Looked really good. Yeah,
best game of his career. I think the Saints are going to be locked and loaded this week, considering that, I gave out this stat about a year ago this time. They were 16-0 against the spread in the month of October since 2016. Since then, they're fucking 0-3. So
repeat that one more time because that's the sexiest ATS number I've heard.
They were 16-0 against the spread in the month of October since 2016. This was last year after they beat the Lions. They covered that spread. But since then, they played 3 games in October. Since then, 0-3 against the spread. So
I would love to see the home splits on those because, it could just be some happen chance that they're at home or whatever. But
but they played some caliber good opponents since then. Won some games, but didn't cover like a 3.5. So I'm gonna back the Saints here, less than a field goal. The Washington football team, outside of the NFC East, are just 7-7 against the spread. So I'm looking to back the Saints here. I know they're 31st in the passing yards per game, but this Washington football team gives it the fuck up. Almost 300 yards passing per game on defense they give up. So, the Falcons were in a similar position this week. Didn't look good throwing the ball, all of that. But they were able to throw the ball, almost got out of there with a win. I think the Saints higher class, a lot of different things. I see some Taysom Hill in there as well. This is the Saints team that I've seen just kind of murder this Washington football team the last few
Yes,
times. So
we've seen it happen in Landover sometimes some years ago with Drew Brees. Obviously, these two teams only play every 4 years, but we've seen it already in Landover before.
Yep.
And I want to point this out. The Washington football team is the worst team on third down in pro football. They cannot get off the field. And if you get it, and so Sean Payton obviously knows that. And Sean Payton runs an offense that is very much so on schedule. He loves 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s. Well, who doesn't, right? But he does the best job in pro football in getting in those situations. I'm hesitant about the fact that Derrick Henry has more catches out of the backfield than Alvin Kamara this year. That to me just strikes as something that will not continue through the entire year. I think Sean Payton knows he needs to give him the ball more often. We go back to this last week against the Giants. Kamara was almost a non-factor. You have to get your best playmakers the ball, and he is their best playmaker offensively. So I think Jameis Winston on the road, make it easy on him, get your best player the ball in space. I think this is an Alvin Kamara game, and I love the fact that the Saints here have already gotten money. Steam up from 1.5 up to 2. I hate 2. It's not going to land at 2, though. It's not going to land at 2. So me not liking 2 is fine. This is a Washington football team that they need to get it together defensively if they have any hopes of being what they were last year, because that shit they're doing on offense isn't going to sustain. It's just not. So I commend what they've been doing thus far. They've been sticking tough into most of their games. Obviously not the other week in Orchard Park up there in Buffalo, but this is a Washington football team that has played pretty bad teams thus far, that not excluding the Chargers and the Bills. So this right here would be a little closer of a matchup, I think, than most think. I think that's why this line is close. So I would be, hesitant to lay this here just on the regular line. I think my favorite angle on the Saints would be the alternative spread, because if they cover, they cover. I don't see the Saints. I mean, I don't see the Saints winning by 2 or 4 or any of those key numbers, that being 2, 3, and 4. If the Saints win, they're winning by a touchdown or more. I would lay their alternative spread here, and I would play the Washington football team on the regular line, if anything.
All right.
I don't think this game lands on 2 or anywhere near it. This line is either 100% incorrect either way, but it does not land on 2, 3, or 4 for me.
All right, and that's Rome at RomyRome _ on Twitter. Remember, it's Where's Rome week 5. All the odd weeks to show where all the odd places Rome is. Paris, how you feel about this game? Saints favored by 2 at the Washington football team.
Excuse me, CEO. You may have to edit this one time, but I did, when I coming onto the pod, want to say, just drop this one stat that I've been banging with all year about specifically about the Dolphins and their lack of rush defense. So Damian Harris, 23 rushes, 100 yards, week 1. Devin Singletary, 13 for 82 and tutty, week 2.
And that's a Bills team that cannot run the ball or
can't run the ball. Zach Moss in that same game, 8 for 28, 2 tutties. Payne Barber, week 3, 23 for 111 and a tutty. Jay Taylor, 16 for 105 and a tutty last week. All that to say that Lenny Fournette, 20 rushes, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns is loaded. Now, so you might have to edit that, but I just want to make sure, because I'm on the pod, I don't get to come here that.
No, we might start it off with that. We might start it off.
But Saints, Washington football team. I like the Saints here a lot. I think it's another kind of buy low, sell high. Sean Payton, we talked about him after the spread, 48-26 after a loss. That's like a 65-66% win percentage on the spread, and then on the away games is even better. It's like 25-10. So I think I like the Saints a lot here. I think the football team they have a lot of things going wrong. Especially it starts with the defense. I don't know how or why things are looking so bad. John Allen left last game, is not looking too good for this week. I mean, they have the names galore, hype galore, but they just haven't been showing up. So I'm gonna back Sean Payton. I think it's kind of fix me game for the Saints here. I think they get right in this game. They cover the spread pretty easy.
Hey, Paris, are there any lines that you're afraid of? You know me, I'm always big on, I don't like laying 3.5 on the road. I don't lay 7 on the road, those type of things. I don't like laying 2 on the road. I don't think this line lands at 2. What line is it for you where it gets to the Saints? And not necessarily too steep, but what line are you just like, I don't like this?
If it got to like 3.5, 4, I would kind of stay away. I hate laying 4 at home. I get that's probably my biggest thing. Look, 4 at home, 7 at home is kind of like always red flags to me. So
laying or catching because they're on the road.
I'm talking about. I was just in general as a general
Gotcha.
premise. Like, laying 4, laying 7 at home is kind of like ugly to me. Catching 3.5, 4 on the road. I mean, laying 3.5, 4 on the 3.5 on the road. If the Saints were laying 3.5, I would kind of stay away probably. But
Yeah, and I think that's where this line. I think it's going to end up at like that flat 3 or that ugly 2.5. And
yeah, I'll touch that all day. The flat 3 is all good. I think the Saints probably win this by a touchdown. But just before the game, if it's there's indicators of the lines move for a reason, and the people that move the lines know there's historical data that goes way back. So when the lines get to certain numbers, certain indicators, that's when you kind of want to stay away.
Right. All right. Soundman, the fans fan, Washington football team fan. How do you feel about this game?
Whoop, whoop.
A lot of mixed feelings about this game. Let me start by saying that where to begin? Washington football team pulls out a win out their hat, knew they were going to win. As I said, each week I'm going to be here to predict our record by the end of the year. I think this is the first time on the first 5 weeks that I'm going to go out on a limb and think we're going to win a game that I really don't think I'm that confident in. I'm going to lean Washington football team here. As people have said, like the stats are against us. History is against us. We never play the Saints well. Our defense is not good. We're a shell of ourselves. We lost so many bodies in Atlanta. Scherf is gone. Logan's got a hammy. McIntyre, he's not good, but he was out there. He was a body. Got injured on the last play of the game. AG's been hurt. Obviously, we're here with Taylor Heineke. Like we're banged up, and I think this is a game we come into Landover. Obviously, we disappointed the fans. Week 1, week 2, barely won by a field goal because the Giants tripped over their own foot. I think this is we come back home and we just get a game that kind of like tries to propel our season into the right direction. It's like, okay, we're 3-2. Let's put aside the noise right now of, who are we type of deal. Ron Rivera, we got FBI agents running up in our damn Let's put the noise away. You didn't hear about the story room? FBI agent, don't worry about it. Drugs.
Oh my God, that's
drugs.
So funny.
Don't worry about it. Like, there's a lot going on in the Washington football team per usual. We're back at home. This is a game we should not win. The number 2 is crazy. Also, who are the Saints? It kind of worries me. The Saints, obviously, they lost to the Giants last week. I looked at the game. It was 7-0. Next thing you know, they're winning the Giants 27-21 in overtime. I was like, what the hell happened here? Didn't see too much of it. Don't know what to make of the Saints this season at all.
That's valid.
So I don't know. I'm going to take Washington football. I'm going to lean Washington football team in this spot. I'm not going to bet it. I think we should win off some pride shit. And I'm gonna go from there, man. That's all I got. I'm leaning Washington football team.
As just being a sports handicapper, I want to point out these 2 very specific angles on this game because, like I said, I don't think this line lands on 2 either way. You can play both teams in this game and still profit. I would play both teams' alternative spread laying the points. I would play Washington football team. This line closed at 2. Washington football team, their alternative spread will probably be at -3. Plus 220, and the Saints alternative spread will be at, if it lands at 2 or 3, it'll be at -5.5, maybe 6, plus 220. You could play both of those angles, and if either one of them cover, you win. So you could basically not even watch the game and just hope for that number to land, obviously with margin. Because like I said, going back to this point, this number is not going to land on 2. It's just not. And I think that would be the best way to approach this. Instead of trying to pick one side, you can play both sides, lay that larger number on alternative spreads, and go from there.
What's up with the Saints, though? Like, I've seen them have 2.
They don't have
I've seen them have 4. I've seen them have 8.
Identity. They don't have identity. They don't get their best player involved. They don't have weapons on the outside. And it's Jameis Winston at quarterback. So
weird numbers this year, man.
Yeah, just
the more we talk about this, the more I like the home team.
Yeah, just looked up Saints or Ron Rivera versus the Saints, 7-11 against the spread. Rivera versus the
Not
Saints.
good.
So Yeah.
Back into black Carson Wentz on the road is not that fun.
Yeah. All right, next game. Eagles at the Panthers. Panthers favored by 3.5. Totals 45. I'll start with me. I just lean with the Eagles. I think the rushing game can really you can kind of get the Eagles aren't running the ball with their running backs, but they're able to run the ball right now. They're ninth in the league. That's a lot of Jalen Hurts. He's doing his thing, but I think that component with on the Panthers on the Panthers defense can kind of give a little pushback. So I'll just lean with the Eagles plus the points on the road, as the Panthers are just 1-3 against the spread as a home fave under Matt Rule. So I'll lean with the Eagles. Paris, what do you think?
It was actually a stay away from me. If Carolina versus Philly, Philly versus Carolina is a 1-7 against the spread, kind of historical. I'm not sure what that means for this game. I think it kind of throws away. I know Rome just asked me, kind of pressed me on that. I don't like laying 4 at home with teams like Carolina's catching 4 right now, I believe. So it's actually a stay away from me. I can see this game going either way. I think if I had to bet it, I think Philly probably covers this game, but I don't see any real betting angles where I'm looking to drop this on the counter. So
Yep. Did want to point out Matt Rule. He is 9-4 against the spread non-division games during his tenure in the NFL. These guys don't look like they lean strongly either way on this game. Salman, I see you're back. You got any leans anyway? Eagles, Panthers?
Yeah, I lean Panthers here. Just off strength, wouldn't bet it. Who knows with these Eagles? And personally, I'm not too sold on your team, the Panthers. Obviously, the 3-0 start, took the L.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Like it just seemed like a young.
Wait till you guys see Dak Prescott. He's gonna tear that ass up.
I mean, he always does. It's nothing new. I just feel like it was a young 3-0 start for the Panthers. I see similarities with that. Obviously, we say that the Broncos didn't play anybody, but I see the Broncos 3-0 the same way I saw the Panthers 3-0. But the Eagles, they just got embarrassed at home. They've been giving up a lot of points as well. Jalen Hurts tries to fight. The despair I see on his face is kind of crazy. So it's like I think he's just itching for a win. Like, they be zooming in on him. He just looks like sick. Like he looks just upset. I don't believe the Eagles will win this game, but I'm just not I wouldn't bet this 3.5 right here. I think y'all should be better than them. So I'm just gonna lean Panthers here.
All right, Rome, I'll get to you on this one as well. What do you think about this game? Eagles at the Panthers. Panthers favor about 3.5.
Yeah, this is a flat 3.5. Line open at 4. Well, look at it was 4, so line kind of open at 4. And obviously, strong money on 2 teams that lost this week, but money comes in on the dog. So this is just a really flat 3.5 for me. I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles here on the first half, specifically off the strength of Panthers defense. We talk about how they shut teams out in the first half, and they were pretty sharp in the first half. That was the Jets. That was the other poor teams they played to get off to that 3-0 start. And this past weekend, we see in the first half, Dallas was moving up and down the field. And when's the best time to take bad teams? And we would consider the Eagles to not be a good team. They'd be in that bad team category. It's in the first half when a lot of their plays are scripted. And in the second half, we often see games get away from them. So I think if the Eagles cover and the Eagles are the right side, they're the right side early. I like the Eagles first half. I like them on the full game. But there's no way I touch the Panthers on this one. I'll probably pull the trigger on the Eagles first half the moment it comes out Friday night. And then the full game, I'll just reevaluate as the line goes on. But I think this line could easily close at that very flat 3. I think we're just looking at it at 3.5 right now on Tuesday night as we record this. But this line does not close at 3.5. It's going to close on one of those flat numbers, 3 or 4. I'm imagining it'll be 3. And at that point, I've kind of lost a half-point value on the Eagles, but I still like them. Like I said, first half is it. Scripted offense for an offense that hasn't been too sharp. In the second half, a lot of Jalen Hurts run around, trying to make plays. I think their best football is played in the first half here on the road.
All right. Next game. Let's keep this one extremely quick, gentlemen. Titans -4 at the Jaguars. I know it's a stay away for you, Rome. Total 48.5. I just want to point out that Urban Meyer is probably just leaving the bar right now with his mistress. But Salman, you got to like here. Talk to me.
Yeah, I got us like here on the Titans. We talked about this. This is our third year doing this podcast. We talk about it every year. Titans always seem to like drag the Jaguars. And as we said, Urban is still in Cincinnati at a bar with his fingers up somebody. So it's just like, yo, they're coaching out here. They don't want to play for him. I love the Titans here. Get back game after losing to the Jets, which they shouldn't have. Shout out to Urban's Whiskey Bar, man. Love to go there.
All right. Yes, sir. More drinks. All right. Next game. We're going to keep this one quick as well, gentlemen. Patriots -9 at the Texans. Look ahead with 7.5, total 39.5. So it's the second lowest total on the board as well. I'm going to start with me. I just want to give you guys, I just want to go like just one or two reasons why Patriots do not or do not cover this spread. I say I like that they're going to cover this spread. They're 9 points. I like it up to 9.5. Because rookie quarterback Davis Mills against Bill Belichick.
There it is.
And Patriots coming off a loss against a game they really wanted to win. I think the defense really plays well. Those are my three reasons.
Because all I'm going to do is repeat everything you just said. Bill Belichick against a young quarterback and Bill Belichick after a loss.
All right, Salman, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm more so just change it to a like, and it's really because of that same thing that Rome just echoed from you, Bill Belichick versus the rookie QB. But obviously, when we all lean one way or like one way, it goes awry for us. But I like the Patriots here, guys.
All right, Paris.
Lean, Pats, just on the strip of GP that I don't think the Texans are going to score.
All right, next game. I thought this one was interesting. Bears at the Raiders. Raiders favored by 5.5. Totals 44.5. Look ahead, Raiders with 6.5. Wanted to point out these teams feel like they just played 2 years, maybe 3 years ago in London, or maybe it was 4 because
they played in the Gruden era.
Yeah, they're supposed to play every 4
London.
years, but it doesn't feel like that's been 4 years. But I wanted to point that out.
You get every division every 4 years, but you also get 2 wild card and 2 different random teams within that other conference, and these 2 teams just happen to be the ones that matched up.
Oh, okay, really? I didn't know that. All right, so Salman, I'm gonna start with you. How do you feel about this game? Raiders favored by 5.5.
I actually just turned it to a like for the Raiders here. I'm just looking at the spot, just judging off of last night's game of what I saw. Obviously the Raiders lost. I think it's to be, understated about how good the Raiders pass rush has been this year. It just seems like we've been seeing them at a night game. I think maybe
getting it in.
Yeah, 2 times minimum we've seen them at night. Might have been 3 games that we've seen them at night or at least on prime time. And it just seems like Max Crosby and the Carl Nassibs have just been getting to the quarterback. And you got this guy. Everybody's crowning Justin Fields as the guy. I mean, we all like him. I like him myself, but he obviously hasn't been producing.
Sorry, my bad. Breaking news: Cowboys just released Jalen Smith, the injured Jalen Smith. But wanted to point that out. But yeah, go ahead.
I've been recruiting Jalen Smith to Washington football team. We can use a linebacker. John Boston just got hurt, but nonetheless,
they just paid his ass, and they wasn't trying to keep paying him. So now that means Van Der Esch is going to get the money.
Randy Gregory. But we can talk about that later. Go ahead.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So nonetheless, I'm just thinking about the pass rush that I've been seeing from the Raiders against anybody they've played. It's been really good, and then you just got this rookie quarterback out here. Obviously, they don't want to unleash and run. They just want to keep him in the pocket. Obviously, Matt Nagy gave his play calling, so it might be some different play calls. But Raiders at home in Vegas. We got a couple guys that may be there to see it. I think, I'm just going to love the Raiders here. Coming off a disappointing L. I'm going to take the 5 here. I love the Raiders here.
All right. Did everybody? No, everybody didn't go there. No one went. All right. Yeah.
No, I got some on this game. I got some on this game, and it's really it's specific to the Raiders team total. We talked about, the Raiders offense in prior weeks and how they've been sharp and able to put up points, but I was all over the under last night. And we saw why it came home. It was pass rush. So if it's one thing the Bears do have, it's pass rush, that being on the edge. So I would look for a Raiders team total under. I don't know if they necessarily cover. I don't really care. I don't think they're going to be able to put up too much points. I think everyone understood what Joey Bosa said last night, and that's not really been a new secret. We go back to the game a couple years ago where the Raiders play Seattle and they put pressure on Carr, and then he's not able to get the ball out. So Carr folds under pressure. I think people are just more so reminded of that now. Raiders come out a little bit lethargic. We know how the Raiders have been in October, not good. And we know how they've been in September, really good. Here we are in October. I like the Raiders team total under on this.
All right. Paris, how do you feel about this game?
If I had to, I would probably lean Raiders, only because I did watch when I was calling folks out for the Bears Lions last week. I had not watched that game, and after watching that game, I mean the Bears are just not good, and the Bears now on the road, they're 2-6 versus spread in the road in the last 8 games. Fields doesn't look that that's pretty underwhelming. Like a sound man said, the Raiders do have I don't know if they're good on defense, but they have impressed in prime time as of late. So
That pass rush.
I would lean not Nassib though, but it's all good. But I would lean Raiders, but don't feel too strongly.
All right, yeah, for me, I also lean the Raiders, close to being alike, but the Bears and the Justin Fields running factor does scare me some. But once you get a few games on these rookie quarterbacks, that does start to lean towards the opposing defense. The Raiders, I mean, I think they do play well on defense. Really bad, god awfully performance in the Monday Night Football. So the spread has come down an entire point. So you're getting them under a touchdown right here, under a true touchdown, which is 6 points. I think that's pretty good at home, considering how well they played in that stadium the last 2 years. The Raiders have with that crowd with them. So I think it could be a tough day for Fields.
Is Montgomery playing?
Montgomery's out 4 to 5 weeks.
Hell no.
So I just say players don't matter, but sometimes running backs do matter. And the only reason why I say that, the reason why Montgomery was playing 98% of snaps, and even though they like Damian Williams a lot, is because Montgomery's a great pass blocker. So you're gonna need that versus Raiders against Crosby, Nassib, whatever. So that's where a guy like Montgomery, even though he's not getting all the rushing yards, receiving yards. The reason why Damian Williams was not playing at all behind Montgomery is because he's graded as one of the lowest pass blocker running backs in the league. So that could.
Oh yeah.
That could be a problem, and we have a rookie quarterback on top of that. That just doesn't bode well on the road. So,
yeah,
5.5 at home seems to cover. That's just one of those numbers I like. Titans laid that against the Colts a couple weeks ago. They cover, so it's just like that 5.5 seems to cover.
Yep. All right. So next game on the board. Let's go to the Los Angeles. Still in Los Browns at the Chargers. Chargers favored by 1.5. Total is 49.5. I will start with me.
Really like.
I like the dog here. I like the Browns plus the 1.5. I like them outright to win this game. I think when it comes down to the Chargers coming off that big Monday night win, we understand how well they played. Against the Raiders, but they didn't play well in that second half. Raiders, figured some things out. They did score once late in the fourth quarter to kind of seal the game. The Chargers did, but the Raiders did seem to figure something out. I think this Browns defense is just getting better week by fucking week. They held one of the best offenses in the league last week in the Vikings to such minimal numbers. Nothing for Dalvin Cook, nothing for in the pass game. Justin Jefferson's got some, but he's just a dog. So yeah, but I just think this Browns defense is extremely improved. We do still have a young quarterback in Herbert, although I think he's great. He's much greater in his division. 6-2 against the spread there, 6-6 outside of the division against the spread. So I'm just going to back the Browns in a really strong team. Defensively now, they know what they want to do offensively. They're going to run that ball. They're going to do what they do. I like them. And it's just, they're not laying points here. They're catching them. And I just think this Browns team is really talented. So I'm going to back the Browns here to win outright on the money line. Paris, how do you feel about this game?
Was this the game where everyone goes right and you go left?
No.
Oh, okay, bet. So, cause I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Joe. I love the Browns here. This is like one of my second favorite play of the week right here. I think what the Browns do well is what the Chargers lack at. What the Browns do very well is run block and running the ball, and the Chargers with the Dolphins are the second worst rush defense in the league. And you see the Browns pass rush is no joke. And so the Chargers have 3 injuries to the starting lineup on the starting O-line. I think just what what the Browns do very well is where the Chargers struggle. I think this is a classic game of matchups where this is a bad matchup for the Chargers right here. And so I like the Browns a lot right here. And the only thing the only interpretation I have is that Baker Mayfield is not playing well at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say Baker.
I mean, he had OBJ running wide open a couple times last week, and I mean, they probably should beat the Vikings by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
You're right,
because they left a lot of points on the board. But you're catching points here. I like the Browns here a lot. I guess I like or love the Browns here.
All right, Ron, what do you think about this game?
Chargers have already been played, and the only reason I really played them was because I thought that money will come in on the Browns. So I think I could play both sides here and find some value. My favorite angle in this game was going to be the under. And it kind of goes back to you guys' points on the Browns. If the Browns are to win this game, they're not winning at 31-28. They're winning at 28 to 24-ish or something in that small ball ballpark. And so if that's the angle, it's going to be the under for me because I could see, a Chargers team off a letdown week, but then we talk about how they beat the Chiefs. We thought that this past week would be the letdown week. They show up and they're strong. I doubt they do it 2-3 weeks in a row. So 3 weeks against very good opponents, Chiefs, Raiders, and now the Browns. And you're at home. Kind of lackadaisical, So I would like this more if the Chargers were on the road. I would like the Chargers more on the road. But here, I mean, they're sleeping in their own beds. They're fat and happy off of 2 wins that they, weren't expected to win. And then now they have the Browns, who I have the best AFC North team in pro football. So it's just going to be a lean on the under for me. I think this is just one of those games where if the Browns are the better team, this game goes under. And then we talk about this past weekend. We know it ended up, was it 14-7 or something ugly up there in Minnesota?
Yeah, 14-7.
But then we go back to the point, that you guys just made. The Browns are supposed to have a lot more points on the board. So I think that total was a little bit misleading. And I think, with this line here at 49.5, I think we would have been catching a little bit more value, maybe 51, had they put up some more points, or, it just been a collective effort of more points on the Vikings offense and the Browns offense. But we didn't get that. All right. So I think that's why we're looking at 49.5 here. And I have no problem playing the under, specifically on the Chargers offense that's been able to score points all year. And here we are with the low total. And a Browns offense last year that was averaging about 35 points a game. So this total's just too low. It's too low. Somebody knows something. Like the under.
All right. Rome likes the under of this game, 49.5. Did everybody go? Soundman, you go?
Yep.
Soundman, talk to me.
Let's Soundman rock.
Soundman, talk to me.
So, a couple things going on here with this game. I'm going to start off by saying the question, Paris, that you asked P is if he's going to be on the side that everybody's not on. It should have been directed towards me. Everybody on this panel is going Browns. I really like the Chargers here. I actually love the Chargers here. I actually texted the chat last week saying I wish we could have talked about the Chargers since we don't talk about Monday night games anymore because I really want to talk about the Chargers. For some reason, I think the Chargers are a really damn good football team. Really good football team. I love the Chargers here. I want to say a couple notes. I love the NFL for putting out the SoFi Stadium every single week of the NFL so far. They're going to show off that stadium. They're also showing off Allegiant Stadium as well, but they're definitely showing off SoFi. And here we go again. We're back at SoFi, 4:00 game. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz. Obviously, you think the Browns are the better team. I think the Chargers are a really good football team. I think their only problem is they lack consistency. It seems like, they'll get out there, they'll score some points.
That's been their story for years.
Their story for years has been they can't win the close game. Right now, to me, it's seeming like they'll go out there, they'll put up a couple points, then they'll just be stagnant for a while. Like, they're super stagnant. Like, I just feel like for a long time, yesterday and last night's game, they could have, blew that game open. They could have blew it open. Eckler was going crazy. They was barely feeding Keenan, and they was barely feeding Mike Evans, and they could have done it, but they didn't do it. But none of that. Nonetheless, Herbert's looking great, and then after a while, it was just like, all right.
Yes,
we're looking stagnant. But besides that, I just think the Chargers at home at SoFi with the Romo call, you would think they should be the underdogs here. Obviously, you would think the Browns have a better team on paper from top to bottom. You would think besides maybe the quarterback. To Paris's point, Baker's not been looking good. Obviously, they still don't have their pass catchers out there. OBJ is still getting his rhythm here. You obviously have Chubb and Hunt that are good running backs. But I think just watching last night's game, you got one of the Bosa's out here not doing too much. Derwin James looking like a stud. Your guy, Rome.
Yeah,
I think yeah, I think 1.5. I think the Chargers get this game outright. Probably like a field goal game here. I love the Chargers here. I'll be the only guy on this side this week. That's fine.
All right,
I lean with them.
All right, do want to move on quickly, but I wanted to note, but when Salmon was talking, I was like, have they done everything well? Second half, they have not outscored any opponent in the second half. They're minus 12 in that category in the second half. So
it gets stagnant.
Yeah, they've even been tied or lost the second half, all 4 games. So next game, want to keep this short and simple too. So we can keep this under like an hour 20. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 7, total 52. Stay away from me. Doesn't look like you're too strong about it either way, Rome.
I'm not laying 7 anywhere on the planet.
All right. Sorry. Salman, how do you feel about this game?
I'm going to keep it short for you. I love the Cowboys here. 7 points is nothing for them against the Giants. They're trying to establish themselves as the best team in the NFC, allegedly. I think you beat up on another NFC East opponent. They did it to the Eagles a couple weeks ago last Thursday. I think they do it again against the Giants at home, 4 o'clock in Dallas. So I love the Cowboys here.
All right, Cowboys 19-12 against the spread in the NFC East since 2016. That's the Dak Prescott rookie year. Giants 13-5 against the spread as a road team under Daniel Jones. Paris, how do you feel about this game?
I mean, I'm staying away. I would lean Cowboys if anything. Only reason why I say it because Danny covers is like an actual thing. Like Danny's especially on the road. Giants cover crazy at a crazy rate. So everything says play the Giants here, but I think the Cowboys are super good. I think they have like a really good team, a very balanced offense. So
balanced,
yes.
I mean, I think that kind of Dak's not gonna have the numbers that some people are projecting, but and they might not always go. Amari C might not always go blood every single game, but their team is really really good. So, and I think their defense is actually underrated now. I think Mika makes a huge difference. So everything says play the Giants here, but I think the Cowboys are so good, I'm not gonna do it. So.
Yeah, same here. That's why I stay away.
Yeah, we'll get to it later, but this is the sexiest teaser on the board if you're teasing down.
All right, next game on the board, 49ers at the Cardinals. Cardinals favored by 5.5. NFC West matchup. Total is 50. This is where I go left. I like the 49ers in this spot, plus the 5.5 points in division. So when we talk about this 49ers team, when I like to bet them on, most of the NFC West teams, I like to bet on the road. I don't know what it is that nowadays the Seahawks, the Cardinals, I love to bet them on the road, but as a home fave, they're just 2-6 against the spread. The Cardinals are with Kyler Murray and Kingsbury. But the 49ers, 15-8 against the spread as a road dog under head coach Kyle Shanahan. I love the fact that they have not been able to establish the run yet this year. They run the ball so well each and every year. This is the Kyle fucking Shanahan system. What do you do now? You insert in a running quarterback that could just take over the game as far as read option. I saw a couple plays last week where Seattle just bit in on the running back. You had to make a decision. You have to make a decision with Trey Lance. I think he can burn you. And if he doesn't, we're going to see what's the guy? I think he's coming back this week. Elijah Mitchell. We're going to see him go for 100 plus in a tug. We're going to see Trey Lance possibly get 70 plus yards. Chips are all on the board here. The 49ers have to win. Backs against the wall. Cardinals fat and happy. Give me the dog plus the 5.5 in division. It is a like for me on the 49ers. Possible best bet.
Really,
man, how do you feel?
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change what I had here. I was gonna stay away.
I like to hear that.
Yeah, you might not like where I'm going with it. I'm gonna lean cards here. We talked earlier before the season started. You told me these Cardinals weren't gonna be shit this year.
Lean or light? Because I want a chicken sandwich bet this week 5, and I ain't had one yet.
I haven't had a bet neither. You know what? Fuck it. I'll like him if you want the other way. If you want to go the other way, I like the cards.
Romy Rooster.
Yeah, I want something on that too. We
can put whatever on it. I think I'm gonna just like the cards here. 49ers, like I said earlier, this is the drink in me at this point. The first game I said I'm not touching anything NFC West anymore. Here I am liking the Cardinals. The Cardinals, man, they just impressed me. Week 1, we sat up here and we asked all of us who could we name on their defense, in the secondary. We couldn't name anybody besides Buddha, and their defense has been showing up every single week. These guys haven't lost. Little Feet is just going crazy. I'm gonna the 49ers. I don't know, man. If it's Garoppolo here, I'm not mad. I would lean Niners here. I don't believe in Trey.
Squareville, you're going back to your ways.
I don't believe in Trey Lance. And
I
you
don't
either. And you don't either.
Line.
I don't believe in Trey Lance.
There are too many. This is too much points in division.
I don't think so.
That's better. It's pro football, right? So what matters more? The coaches or the players? The coaches. Cliff Kingsbury, he might be the worst coach with the best record in pro football right now. Because it's damn sure not Matt Rule. Oh no, Mike McCarthy. He might. I'm
thinking this guy Kyle might be overrated at this point.
Oh my goodness.
I'm thinking
his record is just 2-2 though.
I'm thinking Kyle might be overrated, man. He had a good run. I think his run might be over at this point.
It's not over, and I'll tell you why. This 49ers team is still able to do what they want to do. Obviously, the injury to Jimmy Garoppolo this past Sunday.
Their whole team is hurt, man. They're hurt.
Or Trey Lance. I'm not big on either of them. And I still like the 49ers on this game. And it kind of goes back to the point of this Cardinals team is in the exact same position that the LA Rams were in last week. This Cardinals team had lost to the Rams 8 times in a row.
It's true.
And they finally kick the door in and get the win. Where? On the road. As P said, we like NFC West teams on the road. Well, here they are, fat and happy, coming back to the desert at home, and they're laying 5.5. That is way too steep for a Cardinals team that, as you just mentioned, we were all down on this past year.
I was not down on them. I
was. And they beat the Titans, who I cannot stand, and I think they run the worst schematic offense in pro football, right? They beat a fat and happy Rams team. Okay, so this is a Cardinals team that I'm not too impressed about. I can explain away. You can justify anything, right? You can justify wins or losses, but this is a team in the 49ers that they know what they have. We always talk about identity. We still haven't seen the Cardinals' identity on defense. It's been Kyler Murray, and it's been a non-existent run game. It's been a defense that's been able to get 5 sacks in a game against a Tennessee team that can't throw the ball, and in garbage time they were down, and they looked just as we thought they would be. Ryan Tannehill's the 31st rated quarterback in pro football in pure drop back passes. Number 1 in pro football in play action passes. What does that tell you? When they're down there, they're chasing points. He is sack liable. And that's why we saw Chandler Jones and those guys go off. We haven't heard J.J. Watt name all year. Okay. So
he made some plays last week.
Okay. Budda Baker, turnover last year, houses it for the touchdown. We got it. We all saw what happened this past weekend. I explained that to being a Rams team that was fat and happy off a team in the NFC West that went to the Super Bowl, NFC that went to the Super Bowl in the Bucs last year. So I can explain away that loss to the Rams at home. The 49ers, this is a team that I believe will continue to be relevant. And I think the 49ers are the new Seahawks in the division. That being not a team that necessarily wins the division or goes to the divisional round, but they're always there week in, week out. And when they're catching points, when is the last time this team has been catching points? Because they're still healthy, right? We're much more healthier than they were last year when they were catching points in these type of spots. So this isn't the same 5.5. If anything, I think this line is a super overreaction on the Cardinals. Line open at 2.5. 2.5 doesn't cover at home. Lots of steam, lots of square money coming in on the Cardinals, a team that I think is the most overrated team in pro football right now. Okay, so I love the 49ers right here. Love the 49ers outright.
All right, Paris, what do you think about this game?
I'll keep it pretty short. I think the last 7 games versus the Cardinals, the Niners are 1-5-1 versus spread. Actually, I think the reason why you mentioned you love touching NFC West teams when they're catching points is because all these teams are really good. It's actually because I think Cardinals are probably better than we initially thought. I mean, Kyler's amazing, so I mean that works.
And so just that point of 1-5 against the spread against the Cardinals, they were laying points in most of those games.
That's
for
true.
Sure.
Yeah,
they're catching 5.5 now.
Yeah. So I will say I'm gonna rock with Sound Man. I want to end on the chicken bet. I'm gonna lay the points with the Cardinals.
All right.
I expect Trey Lance to play this week. I don't expect Trent Williams to play this week. I don't expect the top target George Kittle to play this week. And I think what you're going to see with a young rookie quarterback. I mean, Trey Lance, I think he's going to be pretty good. But I think missing your starting left tackle is not ideal on the road in division. And I'm gonna rock with my brother, Vegas. Chicken sandwich.
All right.
I can't wait to watch this game with you this weekend, Paris.
Let's.
All right. Next game on the board: Bills at the Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 2.5. Last game for us. Totals 56.5. Start with me real quick. I lean with the Chiefs at 2.5. But give me the Bills team total over because this Chiefs team cannot stop anybody. They're 30th in opponents' rushing yards per game, 27th in opponents' passing yards per game. So that's my angle on the game.
Historically, the worst defense in pro football after 5 weeks or after 4 weeks.
Yeah. Rome, look at your handicap on the game.
That's crazy. Yeah, I like the over in this one. And it kind of goes back to your point, Bills total team over. The Bills defense, I think they've played. So let me slow down. I like the over in this game. You said you like the Bills total team over because I also just mentioned the Chiefs have the worst defense in pro football after 4 weeks in NFL history. All right.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the Chiefs offense. It's a Chiefs offense that we know will be able to put up points. And the Bills defense has played the Washington football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Miami Dolphins, and the Houston Texans. Those are all tier 4, if we're breaking it down to 4 tiers of pro football. Though all those teams are in the lower 4th tier of offensive efficiency. So I love the over here. We're going to be watching this game on the big screen somewhere in this country. Me and Drew kind of tying into that Where's Rome thing. This game is going to be electric on prime time. And all I will say is we will be watching it at 5 p.m. and 5 p.m. local time of when this game kicks off. I love the over here. It's 56.5. It's high for a reason. Expect points.
All right. Soundman, talk to me. What do you think about this game, Chiefs?
Nothing too much for this game. I'm going to lean Bills. I don't care what the Chiefs did last week. I'm still a believer of them not covering the 1 for 11, 1 for 12 prior to last week. And obviously we all know it's Bills Mafia over here. So, man, it's going to be a hell of a game, though. It's going to be a good Sunday night football game.
Yeah.
I haven't stayed up for many. Hope to plan to be up for this one, but I'm going to lean Bills here.
Morning shift, night shift over here. Gang. All right, Paris, what do you think about this game? Last game on the board for us.
If I had a list, I would probably lean Chiefs. I just think it's just kind of trying to piggyback where Rome has always classically taught me, kind of just fading the team that covers nonstop. I mean, Bills have been covering at alarming rates. So if I would lean Chiefs, but I'm actually going to just play the over. It's Sunday night prime time. All the guys are there.
Let's enjoy this game.
I'm just going to roll some fat J's and just watch points against scored. But I did want to say one thing, and please edit this P properly, about the Cardinals Niners. Niners are going to be without the kicker. Robbie Gould is going to injure the reserve, and they don't. And I think that was I put on my notes, and that was a big reason why I was leaning the Cardinals as well.
Yeah, that looked bad last week. 2 missed field goals, 1 extra point and 1 chip shot.
Yeah, so it was like basically an extra point as well. But then,
it's a whole possession. It was 4 points that he took off the board basically, and that's really why the Seahawks were.
How do you factor that into the line? I mean, not having your starting kicker. I think they're about to announce either tonight or tomorrow that he's about to go on IR. So
a kicker is more important than any other skill player outside of quarterback.
All right. So let's get into it, you guys. Tease me picks. As we want to start it off. I'm gonna actually start with me this week. Soundman's been getting it in first lately. I'm gonna get the Patriots down to -3, and then give me. Do I want to go my bestie Mike Zimmer here? I think I will. I'll go my bestie Mike Zimmer here, -1.5, 6-point teaser. What do you guys got for me?
Tease the Panthers. Tease the Eagles up to 9.5.
Yep.
Like that a lot. And then I also want to tease the total down, which I don't think it'll even matter. I think this might be the highest scoring game in pro football this year. That being the Chiefs from 56.5 down to 50, 51.5, or whatever that number will be. If we're on a 6-point teaser, it'll be 50.5.
There won't be a number. There's not a number. It's gonna be so.
Yeah. It's a 6-point teaser.
Up. And so those are my 2 teasers this for pro football week 5.
All right, Paris, what do you got for me?
For teasers, I like 6-point, right? So I'll take the Vikings at -1.5, and I'll take the Browns at +7.5.
All right, and Soundman, close us out.
Seattle +8.5, and give me the Cowboys -1.
Like that.
All right,
Okay,
and
I
we
like it.
are combined 12-4 on teasers this year.
Is that good?
That's pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good. Me and Mike Curry are haven't
Either
lost yet.
way.
Mike's only gave out one though. Mike's only gave out one. So knock on wood for me this week. And then maybe I'll start talking crazy if I go 5-0. So all right, let's get into it. Best bets presented by Bluehost.